This is Hannibal back here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube with another UAP/drone news update. Pentagon Press Secretary, Air Force Major General Pat Ryder gave a Pentagon briefing today where he was asked about this FAA ban over New Jersey for drones. He says, as far as the anti-drone systems, the majority of anti-drone systems that the Pentagon and Department of Defense was sending out have been deployed to the New Jersey area. These are military bases in the New Jersey area where there's allegedly been incursions. Well, there has been apparently 11 at Picatinny Arsenal Base and 2 over the Earl Base. He said that these anti-drone systems disrupt the drone signals and render them inoperative. Now, again, for what I have to say, for my research, apparently these things might not even work on these more UAP orb-looking quote-unquote drones. So we'll see how that affects anything. He says for the FAA restrictions, he can't answer on why they put deadly force will be used on anyone breaking these restrictions. He said you'll have to ask FAA more about that. He says the bottom line is if a base commander views something they see as a threat, they will have the ability to take them down. Again, President Biden said yesterday, nothing nefarious, by the way, when he was wearing this ridiculous outfit. Talking about the thing that's most interesting to the public right now, that has most public interest. He did a public briefing wearing a hat that cast a shadow over his face with plane engine noises in the background. He was asked how the potential government shutdown that's supposedly about to happen is going to affect the drones. He says it's not going to affect the military drone stuff. He didn't address if it would affect all levels or not, but it would affect the military drone stuff. Not using the stuff word, but he said the military personnel will continue to mitigate potential threats is exactly what he says. He said as far as whether they are moving special drone equipment to other bases around the country, he says you're going to have to refer to NORCOM over that. He says he couldn't specifically answer that. He said any base commander can request additional equipment as it relates to anything. And of course, there have been other bases such as Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio and Langley Air Force Base in West Virginia that have had incursions, as well as one in Texas yesterday in North Texas. And there's been other bases as well that I just don't know off the top of my head. But I believe there's been around 10-ish, at least in the past month. And I did list them in other updates when I had them in front of me. He says as far as Iran's nuclear capabilities, you'd have to refer to the State Department. As far as why are the briefings, or he doesn't have a briefing in front of him to explain why in the last briefing some of these drones were classified as non-military drones. And I think this is a clip from the previous briefing, to be honest. He doesn't understand why some of these drones are being classified as non-military. And I'm sure he was asked that because some of these drones up there are clearly military. And what I'll just say about this isn't what he said, but it definitely appears that there are military and local law enforcement, first responder drones up there, either searching for something or protecting something. Then there's a whole other type of drone out there that don't behave like normal drones and may or may not have special capabilities that there's a reason why they can't be taken down more easily. There was another brand new interview just before I went on with the Belleville, New Jersey mayor. He's saying at the recent classified briefing earlier this week, It was about 45 minutes and they weren't told anything. He said just a day or so after, they had a House Intelligence classified briefing that lasted over 3 hours. So he said, what was the House Intelligence Committee told that was classified over the course of 43 hours that they weren't told in their confidential briefing, I guess, that lasted 45 minutes. He thinks there's more going on than what they're telling him. He says he knows for a fact there are drones hovering over New Jersey's nuclear infrastructure. He says the governor was not at the mayor's meeting recently about this situation, yet the governor was at all 200-ish COVID-related press conferences and meetings. He says that he suspects the governor knows more, the governor of New Jersey. He said New Jersey State Police helicopters have tried to pursue these drones with no luck. He says they are not personal drones as far as the mystery one. Keep in mind, there seems to be the mystery unknown, like 2% of the drones out there that are displaying some UAP-like capabilities. There's the military-ish type drones and local law enforcement drones. Then there's the civilian drones. Then there's the commercial activity up there. He says he does not believe Biden when Biden says yesterday there's no credible threat going on out there. Of course, military bases now have no-fly zones, and some have actually shut down airspace, including one military airport in New York last week, too. He says some top-level officials from Congress have hinted that these are either Iran or Chinese drones. More than one have hinted at that. These are Congress people. One of them is Tim Burchett, for instance. But the mayor of Belleville, New Jersey, is actually saying this. Some top-level officials have said they could be foreign drones. So take that for what it's worth. Again, the local military drones that are up there could be up there to deal with the potential foreign issue or UAP issue. He says someone high at the federal level needs to speak more openly than this because his citizens are scared and they're coming up with more and more conspiracy theories since there is not a legitimate reason being given by the government at this point at higher levels. It's just, oh, there's nothing happening, don't worry about it. Airport bases are shutting down, airports are shutting down. There's no fly zones. This is spreading to other states and other countries, but don't worry about it. Nothing's going on. Medical helicopters have been not allowed to land. Some things are following Coast Guard craft, but don't worry about it. He believes they are searching for something as far as what's going on. They're searching for something over our critical infrastructures. He says it is a cause for concern. It could have something to do with some type of level of threat. He says if it's a lower level of threat, it could just be stuff up there hovering, keeping an eye on what's going on, protecting our infrastructures. Or it could be drones responding to a threat that is known to be out there. He says a lot of them seem to be hovering. A lot of them are flying in grid-like patterns over the same areas every night. And he brings up if it's just drones mapping or aircraft mapping areas, why are they flying over the same areas every single night for over a month now? He says he thinks the government is aware of a specific threat that they are not telling us about. He believes Trump's statement that Biden knows more about what's going on. And he says he believes Trump also knows more because as far as he is aware, as an official, Biden and Trump are getting the same briefings. Of course, Trump in a month and one day will be taking over as president. Valuetainment also did a piece on this. They're a huge YouTube channel, over 6 million, where they interviewed a drone expert today. And he believes rather than an actual nuclear bomb, which I guess in Canada we pronounce nuclear different than in the US, so excuse me for the people that get annoyed on how I pronounce it. The drone expert that they had on who was also spoken about on Joe Rogan recently, he believes that these are dirty bombs containing something that could contaminate a large area or contain radioactive material. So he said even though some people for the guy that runs the drone company that appeared on Valuetainment, that was interviewed again today in an interview that was just released, he's standing by his statement that he believes that these are military drones searching for some type of dirty bomb type threat.